Welcome to the conversation Outspoken Opinionator. Of course, I am your host, Edwin Mayah, and you guys are here for season 7. So, of course, we've been going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're here. I'm excited to be here. I said thank you to all my listeners who have always been listening, who've been tuning into the conversation. I tell you, this season is going to be packed with so many different conversations. As you know, the conversation basically is a podcast where bold ideas meet unfiltered dialogue. I am your host, Edwin, and we're here to talk about topics that nothing is off limits. We go to conversations from race, from gender, sexuality, finance, anything that most often we don't talk about on the dining room table. That's what we have here at the conversation. So again, if you're not following us, go to a live podcast network. You can go to YouTube, you can go to Instagram, you can go to Facebook. That's where we're at. But without further ado, what I want to let you guys know is I have an amazing guest today, someone who I've known for probably a couple of years. I think she's amazing. I think the wealth of knowledge is important for us to know. And so without further ado, I am going to bring into the broadcast Miss Sebah Tubman. But again, like I said, welcome to the conversation Outspoken Opinionated. I'm so glad that you accepted our invitation to be here with us as we have this candid conversation on, I would say, setting goals, I would say setting resolution, I would say creating the new slits for the beginning of the year. And so I think being your life coach, transformational Christian life coach, I'm excited to also have a conversation with you, to be in your presence as the Royal Highness. You were Miss Liberia before. I got to say that. People got to know. People got to know, okay? And of course, you made top 5 in Miss World. So I think all those things are important, like you said in the Bible. I think all those things have created you to be the person who you are. So without further ado, can you just introduce yourself again to the people, tell them what you do and how they can reach out to you on social media?
Thank you, Edwin, for having me. I'm very excited to be here with you. I wouldn't have chosen any other person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so my name is Sebah Tubman. I am a Christian life coach, and I'm originally from Liberia, West Africa. And my website is sebahtubman.com. And on there, you can link to my socials. And my Instagram is also Sebah Tubman, as well as my YouTube channel where I actually connect with people. And there I'm building a tribe of like minded women and just helping women to become the women they were created to be. I think life experiences kind of reshapes us and takes us out of alignment with who we really are. And I, for one, know that I found my identity in Christ. And when I found my identity in Christ, I aligned with my self worth. And when you find your self worth, you stop disrespecting yourself. And of course, you stop allowing people to disrespect you. And it just puts you in the right position to reclaim everything you've lost along the way, rebrand, and come into the true identity of who you really are. And your confidence level just increases. And then you go after your dreams. And having gotten to that place personally, it is my desire and my dream to help other women, and I feel like it's a call on my life to do so. And I'm in the position right now, and I'm actively working as a life coach.
And I really like that. I love the fact that I had a conversation with someone the other day and I said, when you meet people and you know people who have done the work, there's a different aura with that. There's a different energy when it comes to people who have done the work. And so they've done their self-work and now they're able to share that with other people. And I like the fact that you're building a tribe, you are a life coach, you have experienced life. And so you have been able to identify, like you said,
Yeah.
we have to love ourselves. And once we
Right.
find that space and where we accept and love ourselves, now
Right.
we're okay and we can pour out that into other people. And so I really appreciate the
Right.
fact that you are doing this and you are building strong Black women. I say this all the time. People know that.
Absolutely.
If
We're
ain't nobody,
needed.
if ain't nobody fighting for a Black woman, I am.
Thank you for doing so.
Everybody know. All my friends, they be like, "Sir, calm down." I'm like, no,
Yeah.
because we need to be out here making sure that our sisters and our mothers and our cousins and all our Black queens are living their best lives.
Right. And creating a space where we can have the conversation. A lot
Exactly.
of us are quiet because we think we're the only ones that are going through things. And sometimes certain communities that we come from, there's a lot of shaming.
Mm-hmm.
And so we retreat. And then in the space, we don't have women we can trust because we have been burned by women. And I am so striving to get to that place where I can pull out the true value in a woman. And when you
Mm.
come to that place, when I tell you there's a bravery and confidence that I have that I never knew I could ever come into. And I just want every other woman to get that.
And so you say that, so I want to go back because I would look. I was first for you saying it now. Someone would say, "What? She participated in Miss Liberia. She was
Hmm.
on the stage. She won. She went to Miss World. She became. She was one of the top five." So when you talk about that bravery, is this something that you had in you, but it just needed to fester up, or you probably found this new bravery?
I was always, I think that what you allow yourself to be exposed to or what you're exposed to can shape you as well.
Yeah.
My dad is an avid reader. My dad would buy me magazines a lot when I was growing up. So even when I was in Liberia in West Africa, I was living outward.
Mm.
I've always been engaged in things that were beyond my environment. So my confidence was beyond the people that I grew up with. I've always been a little bit ahead. So that helped me in terms of pageants, and that helped me when I went to Miss World. But I would say primarily I was chosen for that. God called me into it. My friends that I grew up with sometimes say I've always had an edge of elegance to me in a way. So it's innate. I would say it's a gift as well. But I would say that even though I was very brave at the time, I had a lot of innocence and I had a lot of faith in God. So I've always been the girl, the kid that grew up with her Bible.
Mm.
So even though I was restricted to the Psalms, I didn't read the entire Bible. I had a real love for God in my own way. I've
Mm-hmm.
always known that for myself, right? And even when I was doing whatever I wanted to do and didn't understand a lot, didn't have guidance as I do now as I'm more mature, I've always had a relationship with God. So even when I did the pageants, I'll tell you a little secret. And I probably need to do a podcast with you that'll probably go on my YouTube channel because I don't know how to have the conversation with my viewers because I've never really introduced myself in that light. And I know they would
Mm-mm.
like to know
Yeah.
on the stage in Liberia when I was in Miss Liberia, the when I was in the moment on stage, the only thing I was saying in my spirit was the 23rd Psalms. When I got to Miss World, I was on the stage with 95 other women. I was saying the 23rd Psalms that when my name was called, the girl next to me on my left side was the one that got me to attention because I was in a space of my own. So I would say it's not bravery, it was that I was chosen and I was leaning on my faith in God.
And I like that you say that because I think when we talk about pageants, or when we talk about entertainment, when we talk about that stuff, people don't connect it with spirituality. They don't connect it with higher power. It's like, oh, she's pretty. She go over there. She's showing it,
Oh
and
no,
that's it. But I
not for
like,
me.
yeah, but I like the fact that you said that, and I think also, I think I watched an interview the other day, and the person was on the interview talked about how the innocence kept them because they
Yeah.
were innocent to a lot of things, they were able to excel in that part of their life because
Yes.
they were
Once
just,
once I got that experience, then I got
uh-huh,
in the spotlight, and then it exposed me to a lot of scrutiny and attention and gossip, and then it starts to chip at your innocence
yeah,
because you realize you're naive. But that's life. Life has to life in order for you to grow. No one, even when we go back to the Bible, no one got to where they were without going through a wilderness experience. And
exactly.
I've experienced that deeply. I experienced it deeply. And so I'll say this to you. God told me that Miss World, Miss Liberia announced me, but he reshaped me. He really took care of me and made me the woman I am. So it announced me, but God prepared me for this moment. Because it wasn't smooth sailing. If it was smooth sailing, I'm sorry, I will not be the woman of value that I am today. I'm most proud of myself today than I ever have been in my entire life.
And I like that because I think that led you into this life coaching and this
Absolutely.
transformational circle that you're a part of,
I feel
where
the
you are.
pain other women, yeah, I feel the pain other women go through.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had major insecurities. I still have areas in my life of insecurities, but now they just become goals.
And you just worked on them. And so
Oh
as
my
you,
goodness. Yeah.
we just work on them. And as we're talking about that, and we're talking about it's New Year, it's 2025. Everybody have these goals. You go to. I was laughing about it the other day. I was telling one of my friend, I was like, okay, now this is why I hate January every year, because you go to the gym is packed. I'm like, these people never used to be here, man. I can't even get on the treadmill. The machine, every machine is packed. What is going on? And so everybody have these goals. You go into the grocery store, everybody eating healthy, everybody doing all these different things, I guess, to reinvent themselves, to create this
Right.
new persona for the new year. But you, as a life coach, you who I would say, you're part of your work that you do is to guide us, it to help us so that we can see our potential, so that we can be the people that we're supposed to be, to find our
Right.
purpose and stuff like that. But when
Right.
you look at let's just talk about resolution and intention, because I
Mhm.
think it's important. And so when you look at resolution, goals, and intention, can you
Mhm.
differentiate between I would say goals slash resolution and intention?
Sure. So, like, a resolution is like a resolute, it's absolute,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
It's an unwavering decision that people make. And intention is where you are in alignment with the actions that's going to be required for what you are actually intending to do, right? So people
Mm,
make resolutions, but without intentions and without the
mm,
actions to back it. And because resolutions are so unwavering, there's not much room to stay focused, to stay committed to it because it's too constructed. Do you understand what I mean?
yeah, I understand what you're saying, because it's like,
Yeah.
so I might be wrong,
That's
but
I think that's why people waver.
because you create this thing by
Yeah.
January 22nd, I used to lose
Right.
25 pounds, but then you
And
forget.
I'm sure we'll get to that in the conversation. That's why
Mm,
you'll find very, very successful, high level functioning people don't do resolutions because
no,
it's a lifestyle thing.
this is what I tell people.
It has to become a lifestyle.
It is. I
Yeah.
think, and for us, you talk about your faith, and of my, I tell people all the time, the things that God has done for me, there is no way in this life I can
Yeah.
say there is no God. My
Right.
faith
Or your
is super.
resolutions made it happen.
My I tell people, I say there's so these goals and these things that I achieved over time, it's because I know there is someone watching over me. I know there are some prayers that my mom and my aunts and my, those people did back in the day, or some prayers that I prayed for, and I know God now
Yeah.
is being manifested now. But when we talk about resolution and when you talk about the intention, I think this is a problem, because as a life coach, when you are working with people, I'm not trying, how
Mhm.
realistic are people when they're setting these goals or these resolutions based on your experience?
People are usually unrealistic. Resolutions are not very, there's not room for, it's very unwavering,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when something is so unwavering, once you fall off once, it's kind of hard because you didn't give yourself much room to make this an achievable goal. So my main approach in my coaching, it's a SMART goal approach, right? So
Okay.
it's SMART, SMART, and it's you have to be specific, it has to be
Yep.
measurable, then it has to be achievable, it has to be relevant, and it has to be time bound. So if I'm working with someone and if it's not measurable, it's not achievable. So for instance, I am not very consistent with working out as I would like to be, right? So I work out in different ways. Thank God I don't eat bad. So in terms of diet, I'm good. So it
Yeah.
kind of gives me a little bit more flexibility when it comes to working out because I'm not as consistent as I would like to be. So if I dare make a resolution about that, we're just going to fail before we can even start January, right? So it's because so if someone, for example, if I am not very consistent in terms of my working out, I walk, I love to walk. I use that for my meditation and prayer walk as well, but it's working out. It releases me, it takes tension off of me, and it relaxes me. So whenever I'm feeling very stressed, I stretch and I walk. I don't go to the gym. It may release me, but I don't go to the gym. I work at home and sometimes I go to the gym. So there are times I go to the gym and I can spend 45 minutes to an hour because I can get on a treadmill mill and do 30 minutes to 45 minutes easy. But when I'm doing strength training or cardio, when we're 35 minutes in, I am having a fight with the person in the video and they're not hearing me. So I'm already aware that 30 minutes is a stretch for me. And I haven't worked out for a while and I decide I'm going to start working out. And instead of going for 25 minutes, I want to go for an hour and a half. That's unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I mean? It's
Yes.
unrealistic. It's like you're cutting back on sugar, but you cut sugar hardcore. Once you revisit it, you're going to go hardcore, right? Things have to be done in achievable and measurable bite-sized pieces. That's how you get to that place. And then there's no need to fight the consistency because you've eased your way into it.
Mm-hmm. So with these, I would say goals, resolutions, and having intention, how do you think people can stay motivated through these goal settings? Like when you talk having your smart goals, how can they be motivated through the year, especially when there might be challenges that we talked about? You got to be, if you're not persistent, if those goals are not realistic, if they're not measurable. So how can we be motivated to reach to those goals during the year?
Goals.
Mm-hmm.
One, what's the motive? What is the why? That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
What's your why? What's your motivation? If you're doing it because everyone's doing it,
Yeah.
why are you doing it because everyone's doing it? Are
Mm-hmm.
you doing it to prove a point? Because someone bought a house and you must buy a house this year. So I will go back to the basics. I'm a life coach that is fundamentally based in self-worth. When you start to operate in integrity and you start to operate in the space of your self-worth, you're hardly going to disrespect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if your goals are meant to help you achieve something that adds value to you, it's going to keep you motivated. And even if you lose that motivation because something happens, life happens. I'll give you an example, right? I have been working on becoming a life coach for a very long time. Most people become life coaches because of the experiences they've had. What is a bad breakup? What is a success in finding online, a partner online, or women getting their bodies back together after a baby, or women who have been struggling with having children. Just different experiences brings people into that space to help other people, right? So I suffered a lot with who I am being attacked. So I had to find me and I had to stay so focused on God to find me that the voices of others who try to redefine me became very voided.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot, I cannot question who I am by someone's perception or opinions of me because I'm very aware. I'm living in awareness of my truth. And I am accountable to the Holy Spirit. So when I am in error of character, I surrender and say, build character. Take that behavior from me because it was a learned behavior. I'm
Mm.
not in denial because a
I
lifelong lesson for me to become the
mm-hmm.
best version of me of
Myself.
myself. It's a daily walk for me.
I like that you say that because I think a lot of times when for you, me, and a couple of people who have done the work, they know their worth, they know who they are as a person, they know their purpose in life, they know what they're passionate about. Um, for people, I've realized that for people who haven't done that work, they tend to have this. How can I put it to not be so mean?
Don't be mean.
Yeah, it's when I tell you I don't like this, don't do it. Because I know me. I know what I like, I know what I don't like, and I know how I want to be treated. And so when I tell you as a friend, don't do this, and you're like, oh, you're so sensitive. Oh, you're so this. Why are you? I'm like, no, it's just like I'm telling you the things that I like. So as a friend or whatever relationship we're in, if I'm telling you that, no, don't do that. Or one thing my friends know me for, if you come in to sit here and talk about other people, I don't do that.
Right.
Because I told him, I said, because if you're gonna sit here and talk about people, I know when I leave, you're gonna go there and talk
You're
about
gonna
me.
talk about me
So
too. Yeah.
we don't do that here. And so a lot of
Right.
and people was like, oh, I said no, because I know who I am, and I know that I don't want that spirit around me. I don't want that around me. I don't like that, and I've seen that a lot of people aren't in tune with stuff like that. So they get frustrated, they get upset, and I'm like, that's fine. I know
A
me.
lot of people are not doing the work.
Yeah.
A lot of people are passive with who they are. It's who I am. You can accept me for who I am and whatnot. And so, how can you expect someone who does not understand boundaries to understand your boundaries? It's
Ooh.
un- it's
Oh.
unrealistic.
I just don't put it in the Liberian. I just think Liberian people don't know boundaries.
Yeah, we're not raised with boundaries.
Are you
We're not raised with
serious?
boundaries. And what I've learned, right? What I've learned is that the more you evolve into the better version of you, you start to detach from who you used to be. And then the people who are like who you used to be find you weird and you're changing and they don't understand it. But I am in a place to say, when you come to light, you don't argue with people who are still in the dark.
I
You don't
agree with
worry about the acceptance of people who confused you of who you really are, who kept you in a
you.
cage of who you really weren't.
I like my group of friends. They always say this. Why every time we say something, just be like, oh, it's not that serious. I say it's not that serious. I
Right,
said, first of all, your perception and your ideologies about me is not my business. That's your problem. When I tell you this is me, I come with my authentic self. This is me.
right,
But if you
right,
go and create an entire new structure of who you think Edwin is supposed to be, I can't help you.
right, right.
I can't help
But
you.
it's a wonderful thing that you're in that space. I suffered for a very long time and I had an epiphany one day in 2018. I had walked a friend downstairs and I was coming back, and the Holy Spirit said to me, you suffered with the acceptance of people because you thought they chose you when you became Miss Liberia. They didn't choose you. I chose you. They had no choice but to choose you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I lived my life not knowing that I lived at the mercy of their acceptance for a very long time. So whenever something was said about me that was not positive, I was carrying this burden of stress and and depression and fears and self-doubt, of what people will think. While I was having my own experience as a young woman, I just was having it in the public eye. There was nothing wrong with me.
Yeah, I understand.
I was becoming her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a victim of just being vulnerable to heavy scrutiny. And it comes with the territory. And what was very sad is that no one I know knew what I had gone through because no one had gone to Miss World in my family, amongst my
Mm-hmm.
friends. So the level of attacks or admiration or attention, and because it's both ways, but we
Yeah.
tend to focus on negative more because it's more impactful. When you're innocent and you're naive and you're young, I don't care now. You can think whatever. I know who I am and I'm very clear. And I think we suffer at that place because we don't know who we are yet.
Mm-hmm.
But most people who are successful, like you are saying, when they hear, so okay, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm on to the next thing. I have things to do. So they can think whatever.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
like that you say that
Feel
because I think a lot of times people who are in the spotlight, people don't everyone's, oh, you're bubbly, you're having a good time. Everywhere you go, people know you, they're calling your name. Everybody think that's it. You're just like, no, can I just be can I just be natural? Can I just walk into a space and I ain't got to talk to too many people and do all that stuff? And I experienced that a little being in an environment for 16 years where I was like the face. If you went to like where we
mm,
met, if you went there, you saw me. I was on stage. I was doing the announcements. I was leading
right.
this. I was leading that. So
So
everybody,
people get to know
yeah,
you.
everybody was getting a piece of me and pulling me and pulling me and pulling me and pulling me. And there was one day when I had a nervous breakdown because
Ooh.
I had to go to, it's like this person having a baby shower, this
You
person
were
getting married. I
overextending
was
yourself.
just overextending myself and I
Right.
had a breakdown. I would never forget that I was driving on 270. I said I was driving on 270 and this person cut me off and I broke down and I started to cry. Like
Ooh.
I just had a whole meltdown and I called my friend who's a psych nurse and I said, I don't know what's going on today, but this happened. She said, this is where I am. I need you to meet me somewhere. And she pinned the address and I drove and I met her at Cherry Grove Hospital. She said, you need to talk to somebody. She says, something is going on with you. You need to talk to somebody.
Hmm.
And that's when I was introduced to the therapy. They were like, you need to talk to somebody.
Right.
You are looking for something because all those things
Yeah.
that you are doing and pleasing everybody, you are looking
You're
for something.
overcompensating, yes.
Exactly.
Because you're trying to fill in a void.
Fill in a void. You want to be popular. You want to be everywhere. You want to do this. You want to do that. And when I change, when I be like, oh no, it's okay. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to make it. And I saw people like, what? Or you think you're better than me? Or you,
They got used to the
yeah,
old
I was
you.
like, no, I can't do it. I can't. I'm sorry I can't help
Yeah.
you out. I'm sorry I can't MC your events. I'm sorry I can't be in your wedding. That's going to be too much for me. Just the
Oh,
things of people, when people ask you to do something, it costs a lot of money. Like, man, I got a body outfit. It's like a lot of money, but you
it's a
still do
lot.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all
Well,
those
that's because you
things.
don't know yourself.
And so when
And when you don't know yourself, we people please.
that's what I was doing. And I realized when I
Yeah.
had to do my work
And
through
that
therapy, yeah,
that false sense of guilt that comes on
it
you when
was
you don't do it.
so much for me. I'd be like, man, they would feel bad, but now I'm like, you'll be okay.
Yeah,
Oh, you'll
because
be
you're
just fine.
healed.
I'm like, you'll be just fine.
Congratulations.
I'm like, I'm
Yeah, and
good.
that has nothing to do with your heart. It has nothing to do with you being a good person.
And what for
You
me
remain a good
led
person.
with me, and I think probably you being you as a transformational coach and all that stuff, you can see that the people who are for you will stay with you. The
Absolutely.
people for you will stay. The people who are not supposed to be,
Absolutely.
they will just drop off. They
Yeah.
will just go because it's like this new person, we can deal with this person. This person
It's
is foreign.
freeing. It's
Yeah,
very freeing.
it's
Yeah.
extremely freeing. I think it's
Yeah.
liberated. It's like
Right.
I was telling somebody, I said it feels. I don't know what the the forefathers felt when they were finally out of slavery. But I said,
Mm,
I think that's how it feels. Like you're liberated, you're free, you can do
you're
whatever.
liberated.
Yeah, I don't need someone's approval.
It's tiring. For me, it's very
Exhausting.
tiring. I love people. I
Mm-hmm.
love people very much. But then again, for me, I'm very in tune with with the Holy Spirit. So I can be in a space and we can all be chummy and I'll literally know you can't stand me. And people around me can't get it until something proves that I was right. And I had to get to the place and said, I don't know if you've seen this statement, stop running what God has told you
Mm-hmm.
around to people who didn't hear him
Yeah.
before you.
Mm-hmm.
So I love people, but I've come to also realize that it's exhausting and it's impossible to please everyone. And so I stopped because even in the Bible, Paul says, if I try to please men, I will disappoint God, I will disobey God, I will dishonor God. And I prefer honoring God
Mm-hmm.
and the spaces he wants me in, I'll show up authentically. My church, the little kids in my church, they flock to me, they hug me, they lay on me, they cry for someone else to, to sit on my lap. Last Sunday, I just had the most amazing moment where a kid with with autism who is really jumpy and excited just came and just laid on my bosom on my side for like 30 minutes and I could just feel God in that moment. And
Yes.
so I have to be okay with the fact that I know who I am and I know that I'm standing in the mirror of myself daily and saying, God, examine me. And if there be any error in me and if there be any character trait in me that this does not please you, strip it of me. I'm the
Yes.
one that's coming out of conversations that didn't go well, and I know that's not who I am. Holy Spirit, please correct me in that way. So once I know I'm in that genuine space of integrity and pursuing the values that I know and standards that makes me an outstanding person in the sight of God, I'm only going to do right by people. And if someone does not see it, receive it, it's not for them. And it's absolutely protection if you reject me.
And I like that you say that because I want to talk about accountability. Because I think when we're accountable to ourselves, it means a lot.
Mhm.
But
It means a lot.
what role does accountability play in achieving long-term goals, long-term change, resolutions, and all that stuff?
Accountability is very important, but you also have to realize that it's very rare. because a lot of people are not doing the work.
Mm,
And it takes someone
mm,
who understands the value of accountability and the things you're doing in order to support you. So I say, for example, you are no longer drinking, you're no longer, um, alcohol is no longer something you want to do, but you leave work and do happy hour with the same people you used to drink with.
I'm
And you
sorry.
expect them to keep you accountable
Mm,
because they're already feeling very some type of way that you think you're better than us because you're trying to do better. And it's never about doing better than other people. It's never, I don't know why people feel that way. It's me trying to be better than the person I used to be. This thing is not about you. Or she thinks she's better than people because I don't drink. I've had people ask me in places, "Oh, you mean you never drank?" And I'm thinking, "Why are you mad? Like, even if I did, was it your body?
mhm.
And now
Yeah.
that I'm not, am I taking pleasure away from you?" But because when you're in that space, you make people uncomfortable and you make them feel judged. Because deep down inside, they know something's wrong, but you have the strength to do otherwise, and they have not found that yet,
I
right?
like that.
So,
Go ahead. Sorry. I'll cut you off.
no, say what you were about to say.
No, I said I like that you said that because a lot of times I think is people project their
Absolutely.
insecurities on others on the people.
Yeah.
I
It's just they're just misunderstanding it. That's what it is. When you're doing the work, you will know when you're projecting.
yeah,
When you're not doing the work, you don't even know what projecting
you
means.
know, it's like
Right?
what? Like,
Right?
how?
So yeah, accountability is very, very rare
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to be hard for you to find people around you who are doing the exact things you're doing, but you can find them. You can join YouTube channels
Mm-hmm.
and you can stay away from the people that let you do the things that you no longer want to do. But I would say accountability for me, that I feel it's prime,
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that one, I'm accountable to God.
Mm.
He gives me my standards, He gives me the values that I live by. And some things are just not acceptable. We have to make those changes. And then, because I'm living in integrity of who I am and my self worth, it does not give me permission to disrespect myself. So when I say I'm going to do something, it's about me. I'll give you a really tangible example today. I don't get to work late. Now, mind you, I didn't always do that because I don't clock in nor do I clock out. I can get to work at 10 o'clock. It doesn't make a difference if I leave at 4 because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not clocking in and I'm putting in my own time. But then when God corrects me about timing and arriving on time, and that's an expression of respect. Every person that has gotten to the top of the caliber of life is a person that respects time.
Time. Oh, say that again. Oh,
You will never find someone who is at the peak of success and awareness of who they are, because for you to get to that peak there has to be some work that has to be done.
mm-hmm.
If you don't do the work, it'll compromise your process and your progress. That's just it. So my self-worth does not give me permission to disrespect myself. And because perception of who I am starts with me, that the part that I have control over, I have to show up accountable for me. So because the tangible example I wanted to give you was this morning. I was to go to the post office. I woke up this morning and it completely slipped my mind. Now, whatever I was taking to the post office is at my door, so I don't forget it.
Yeah.
But when I got ready and then it dawned on me, I made my breakfast and everything, so I had time, but I forgot about the package that was to mail. And the moment I realized the package I needed to take to the post office, when I looked at my time, I said it was going to make me get to work late. I'll take it to the post office tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, I could have gone into work 30 minutes late and it wouldn't have mattered to anybody. But you know who it matters to? Me.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And because I respect getting to work on time as an expression of who I am and I'm becoming, no one was telling me, "Oh, in order to make it to work on time, you need to postpone the post office to tomorrow."
Yep.
I was accountable to me because in terms of lateness, I was convicted by the Holy Spirit,
Mm-hmm.
which is my ultimate accountability partner. So when you don't have that person in your life to keep you accountable, there are apps to keep you accountable. You have to get to the place where you respect yourself so much that your word is your word and your commitment are your commitment. That is not about anybody.
Hmm.
It just reshapes your entire approach to life. And it's not because no one is here. I'm trying to prove a point to. It's
No,
me. Yeah.
I like that you said that, and it's super, super important. I think my family, my friends, they know me when it comes to time. I am stickler about time. People, know, they were like, oh, if they have an event, they tell me the real time, and they tell the people
Right.
the other time because I will show up because for me, being on time is late. 15, 10 minutes early, that's me. I will go in. I'd be like, I don't want to go in and help the people to set up and do the last minute errands and all that kind of stuff. But that's me. And like you
Yeah.
said, and it's a simple thing because my sister and I was having a conversation the other day and I was talking about work and I was like, I'm going in. I was like, today I'm going to leave. I'm leaving at 2:30. She's like, well, you can just you leaving at 2:30? I said, yeah, I get to work at 6:30. Nobody tell me when to come in and when to leave. But today I just feel like leaving early because I know when I go home, I'm still gonna be on my laptop anyway and do what I need to do. And she's like, wow, it was like, wow, if that was me, I just leave whenever I want to go. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no. I said, because I'm like you said, I'm accountable to myself. I said, I will not be
Absolutely.
good just rolling
Yes.
in and rolling out. Like,
Yeah.
what's going
So
on?
fundamentally, you just have to do the work on
Mm-hmm.
becoming the best version of
Version of
yourself.
yourself.
And
Yeah.
all of those things starts to become a lifestyle. And when it becomes a lifestyle, it's no longer a chore. It's not hard. It's
Yeah.
easy. It's like reaching when people say, I don't, I just want to wash my face and put my lotion and go. And it's okay. Yeah, great. You'll have the same results that you've been having. Oh, that's too many steps. If you put them in arm's reach in your bathroom and you see the results and you like it and you are getting you're achieving the results you want, no one's going to tell you to do it.
Mm-mm.
This thing is about self-love and respect. Bottom line. Because if no one's there, I don't need an accountability partner if there are apps to keep me accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Set up your Alexa, she'll help you.
Oh, she sure will.
She sure
She
will.
sure. Oh my God.
And she'll be cheeky too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is no excuse. I think that we just have not faced ourselves well enough to respect ourselves the way we're supposed to. That's just what it is.
So let's talk about environment. I think a lot of times our environment shapes us, influences us in the people person we are today, based where his friends, his family members, and all that stuff. But when we look at our environments, how does that, you being a coach, influence somebody to achieve their goals?
It does in so many ways. I think we've covered that in
We
the
covered that earlier, but I brought that up because I
I can
think
still answer
we
that.
talk about, we talk about people when people you shedding of people, you getting new people. I like this saying someone say, change if you can't change people.
Right.
So I would, yeah,
If you can't change the people you're around, change the people you're around.
that's it. Yeah.
Yes. So environment's it's very, very important. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, when you talk about mindset shift, it's all about shifting from the the mindset that you picked up along the way. Right. So environment is very, very important too. I'm very picky about the people I spend time with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Oh,
absolutely very picky with the people I spend time with. And I'm not overextended. I'm overextended in the things that add value and builds me. And I am a helper. So I will be there for people to help people who want to be helped, people who are looking for someone. I'm very supportive. I'm open. But when I say environment really shapes the person that you are, and a lot of us will be victims to that for the rest of our lives, unfortunately, because we refuse to realize that you have the right to break traditions,
mm,
get to know who you really are, have true values and standards and principles to live by, and you'll see what everyone else has been saying was okay because it was the norm was never really okay because everyone thought it was a norm.
yeah.
right? Because everybody dates certain types of people, and you're at a certain age and you're like, that's not working for my future,
Hmm.
does not mean I have to do what everyone's doing. So environment will reshape you. Um, I'm very careful with the company I keep because I do believe that the company you keep will corrupt you and change you. So, in order to achieve your goals, if you're in an environment where there's no one around you that's like you or like minded, find new friends on YouTube. Curate your social media and follow the people that are going to speak to the person that you're becoming. It's not hard anymore.
Mm-mm.
Get the right books, listen to the right podcast. Faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. Mindset shifts goes, it also comes that way. What are you listening to? What are you exposing yourself to? And when you start to shift the environments that no longer serves you, you'll start to see, what are they talking about? Have I been doing this?
Yeah.
You know this guy, David Shan,
Yep.
Social Proof, the guy from Social Proof
Social proof. Yeah.
podcast.
Hmm.
Yeah. When he started, he said he has some friends. What they'll do, they'll get together every Friday night and they will drink before they go to the club because they'll be kind of tipsy before they go to the club. And then he said he started talking to people outside of that circle that were more progressive, business minded, hustling. And he will bring the information and his friends, but like, nah, man, please, we worked all day.
Yeah,
Ain't
we're
nobody got
tired.
time. And he said the more he started stepping out of his normal circle to talk to the people who were more progressive, he started saying, this is not what this is going nowhere. I'm wasting my life. And of course, we know him today because
Yeah.
who he has become. He had to shift his circle to become the person that he is. If I cannot shift my circle, I've made it clear. There's certain conversations I do not have. People close to me know that I have no interest in things that are not progressive. I'm still funny,
Hmm.
but if it's foolish is useless, it's going to do nothing for me. Let's give it 1 second and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
So surrounding is very important. And the way I work, I spend more time in my office. So it's not even for me, it's not even a community thing.
yeah.
It's just who I am.
Hmm.
Because I've come to find a lot of people are not going anywhere. They're complacent, they're content, they're not motivated, they're not doing the work. And if you don't recognize that, you will become one of those people. And I know I'm not one of those people. I'm very progressive and I'm very, very, very aware.
And I like that you've really broken that down because I think a lot of times we don't understand the values that we have inside of us. We don't understand who we are as individuals. We don't understand who we are as a people in general. And so I think that environment, when we are placed in different situations, different environments where you realize that, I say, for me, it's like it's just not in tune with me. The
Yeah.
energy is just not matching. It's not
And I
working.
no longer apologize for it.
No, I'm just like it's not gonna work for me.
Yeah.
I remember I was in this group chat. One of my friends added me to this chat, and they were just talking things that I didn't. I was like,
What am I doing
what am I
here?
doing in this thing? And so I like texted him on the side. I was like, sir, I'm gonna get out. I'm not gonna be in here. He's like, oh no, this is a group chat. I said, no, 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 no. I don't want to be here. I said, because this is what's happening. People are posting things that has nothing to do with why this group was created. And so that doesn't
Do
work
you
for me.
have you heard this statement that says you have a lot of things, the things you have in common with a lot of people is your history,
Yes.
and you're no longer that person that you used to be?
Yeah. And I've
Yeah.
seen that. I've seen there are people who, it's like, oh, we just move apart. It's just because
And
my
that's
interest,
life.
yeah, it's life, and
Yeah.
there are some relationships where you're like, oh, I feel bad, I miss the person, I would text you here and there.
And I'll show up for you. You'll know I still love
Yeah,
you. You
yeah,
know I'm
yeah, yeah.
still there.
But we just not.
I'll give you a secret, and maybe it'll come up in your question. Maybe I should wait for that, but I'll give you a secret that I have. My phone does not ring after 9 p.m.
Oh,
It goes on, do not disturb.
yeah, that's me. Yeah. And I tell everybody, if you're about to die, call 911. There is nothing I can do after 9 p.m.
If I see the missed call and it's worth me responding to, then I will respond to it. And then I work physically. I work for a university, but I work in a hospital of the university
Mm.
physically. So it never shuts down. Hospitals don't shut down, right? So how do I stay? Say, for instance, if I'm working on a project or I'm doing something, I'm building something. So, for instance, if I didn't have this meeting with you today, I probably would have left my office at 7. Everyone's gone by 5,
Mm-hmm.
but I shut my door and I execute. I'm the one who leaves my house when I have something to work on. Let me stick with this. So my phone does not ring, and we're still in alignment in with this whole resolution or
Yes.
achieving goals conversation,
Yeah.
right? So some ways that I work on my goals and how I don't let the people around me or my environment stop me from achieving my goals, right? I'm very aware that everyone is not on my page. Everyone's not going in the direction I'm going. And there are a few people that will keep me accountable, and I've accepted that. But I owe it to myself to use the resources that I have to keep myself accountable.
Yes.
So, for instance, last year I was working on my coaching, launching my coaching business. And so from building my programs, my website, contacting people I needed to do things with, going through different trainings. I'm the one that's I'm always in some workshop on Zoom. I'm always in some class. I was in one today.
Uh-huh.
So um, I'm the one that will lock myself in my office when everyone's gone. And I tell you the things that I would accomplish between 5 4:30 to like 7:30 in the summer. Just know I'm leaving around 8:30. My mom is in Africa and freaks out. Is it not too late? Da, 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 da. I'm like, it's still sunny outside. Besides, there's security everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I keep me accountable. So when I stay in that space, why am I there after everyone leaves? The distractions are gone, and I execute. And when I get home, all I'm looking for is dinner. I do that also with my side business, which is not coaching. I stay in my office. I take my business stuff to my office, put it onto my desk. Once I'm off the clock, everyone's gone. I start doing my business in my office. Last week, yeah,
Yeah.
I had an exam last week that was due for the 31st of December. I'm working on a certification, right? And it was 170 questions. It was 17 modules, and each module had 10 questions and it had 20 minutes each
Whew.
for each module. Yeah, it was very intense. So I did up to 7. Then I took a break and I went for a week vacation. I got back that Friday. I wasn't feeling well. I was sick started getting a cold Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I know myself very well. I packed my laptop. I got in my car. I went to my office. Mind you, I was on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in the office, but I have my office key. I tell people, if you're listening and you're struggling, if you're home, and I don't have children at home, but I left my home because I knew in my office with the door locked, there was no leisure, there's no couch, there's
Yeah.
no bed, there's no TV. I was focused. I tell you, each module probably had 38 pages to read and answer 10 questions,
Mm-hmm.
48 pages, 20 pages, some maybe 15, 10. I executed. I sat there. I went from 8 to 17 and got approved right away.
Wow.
I left home where there was no one in my space to disturb me, but because I was accountable, I was sick, I had a flu. But I had the 31st to break down that thing and I had to be done. I
Mm-hmm.
took my Christmas break. I took 5 days off. I went out of town. I came back. I was sick. But I said this goal has to be achieved in 2 days. On the 30th, I executed on my way home, stopped by CVS, bought some more cold medicine, came home, made pepper soup, was down for the whole week to after the New Year's. You have to be accountable to you. You must respect yourself.
That's it.
I did not have a teacher in that module. I did not have a friend. I did not have anybody. All I had was, Seba, you're going to increase your capacity because God already told me I gave you at your level of capacity what you can handle. The talents you can handle is what I'm going to give you.
Yep.
A lot of us have gifts inside of us, potential inside of us that we're not willing to cultivate. We're not willing to sit on. We're comfortable with the money we're making. That's fine to each his own. Some people are
Mm.
making more than I am. But I'm catching up because I spent years not knowing who I was. Now that I know her, I'm going after everything God
Hmm.
has for me.
I hear you. I tell people that all the time. I say, you know what? There is more out there. That means I
Yeah.
need to do more to get the more.
Yes. And the fact that you have the heart to and the mind to even perceive that there's more to you
Yeah,
is God speaking to you. So that was just an example to tell people how I achieve my goals. That's how I go for it. And there are days I'm coming out and I see the missed calls. Oh, I called you. And the wonderful thing is, in the hospital, phones don't work well. When I tell you that thing has worked for me,
that's my excuse. I'm like, I'm downstairs. Y'all can't find me.
my phone does not work well. Sometimes I walk out before I see the
Oh,
messages. And my parents know this. So they understand. My brothers and sisters, my closest friends know this. And once I'm in that zone, I'm going to execute. Now I come home that Monday. I don't have to worry about it on the 31st. That's how I stay accountable with my goals.
and I like that you said, and I want to say this because I think a lot of people aren't understanding this, and those also goes when it comes to boundaries. When I tell you I don't answer my phone after 9 o'clock, I don't answer my phone after 9 o'clock. So me and you can have a project, we can have you be like, oh no, I've had somebody who said, well, I was calling you was very important and you need it. I said no, no.
I do answer
I
it.
will
It just doesn't
I'm
ring.
sorry. I will not at not what I do is at 9 o'clock my phone goes on do not disturb and I set it down
Me
on the
too.
charge. I might be
Yeah.
doing something
Yeah,
because for me it's like I'm winding down, I'm chilling,
right.
I'm home, I'm relaxing. If my son is
Right.
here, we're doing homework, maybe we're watching a
Right.
movie. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to talk on the
I
phone.
do. It's not for me, it's not a cutoff. The reason why I do 9 o'clock is because I don't want anyone to steal my intimacy with God.
Okay.
Yeah. I may answer the call and I'm in the bathroom unwinding. And so I can, because between 9 and 9:30, they're about, and there are times I can talk to people. So maybe if it's a day that I spent home, I probably fasted and pray earlier that day. If it's a holiday, I've probably done my intimacy in the daytime. And so maybe it's going to be a little bit lazy in the evening. Or if it's an aunt who's been really looking for me, then I know, oh, I talk to her. So I'm not as strict as you are. I'm not as
I
strict as
laugh
you are.
because it's my one of my aunt texted me and she said I need to talk to you. I said please call me. She said please call me before 9.
So I'm not, I know, I always say if there are people you don't choose, God choose them for you, and I'm available to them. But I've also gotten to the place where um, I will put my phone on airplane mode, and that's it. And it's just, I will apologize if you call me. I'll call you the
Oh,
next day. My phone
yeah.
doesn't ring and whatnot. But that is also one thing that I do also to achieve my goals. I limit my availability and people accessibility to me as well.
And I love that people accessibility to me. I think I shared my story where I was accessible to everybody, and now so I
Yeah,
limit people access to me. I bring the people in my space where I know they are going to bring some add value to my life. We have
right,
similar things in common. We can have conversation that will elevate us, or we can
right.
even have arguments where we can learn from each other. And I tell people,
Absolutely,
yeah,
because arguments are alarms that you are not on the same page, and
and
it's
I
just
love
an
it.
opportunity to get aligned.
Yeah, I love it. I tell
For me to
people,
hear you and you hear me, and then most times we have something in common. It just brings I know this because people think arguments are negative.
yeah,
It's actually an alarm that something needs to be discussed and understood,
and
basically.
and in this, in like I have a brother-in-law. Well, that's what we do. Like everybody, if family come together, they like put them on the side because that's all they're gonna do. But we over the years we have realized that in that whatever we're arguing about, whatever we're discussing, we learn from each
So much
other. There is
wisdom.
so much
Yes.
wisdom we learn. We might
Yeah.
never. I'm trying to change him. I'm not trying to change his opinion. No, 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 no. But I have an opinion. I want him to listen to my opinion. And he has an
Right.
opinion. And I listen to it and we can go in and we can dissect each other opinions and we can and
Absolutely.
it's
It's not
healthy.
about being right. It's not about who's right and who's
No.
wrong. It's about coming to an understanding and hearing where you're coming from. And sometimes it's like, Have you heard this? Like people are arguing, and then one day they finally decide to talk, and they realize that, well, we were saying the same things. We're
Mm,
just saying it different ways. Yeah,
relationship issues.
yeah,
That's what I tell you. It's like, yeah, y'all just saying, y'all literally are saying the same thing, just different ways.
yeah,
But this
yeah.
conversation has been extremely, extremely great. I really, really, really enjoyed it. But before you leave
Me
us,
too. Yeah.
is there anything you would like to leave with the people out there who are setting goals and who are looking to reinvent themselves and who are looking to find the true version of who they are as individuals?
Well, if you're looking to reinvent yourself and find your worth, I am here. I am here. I think I've been vulnerable enough to tell you that I've walked it and I am living in that truth. I say that I have this call on my life. So it's my goal to help you become the best version of yourself. And so my support is to help you become that person. And so I'm not in no way, shape, or form going to defeat my own goal by disappointing you. But I would say, fundamentally, you have to get to the place where you're in pursuit of your highest version of who you are. It's time to stop playing the back seat and the shadows of our own lives. It's time to walk in the light. Arise, shine, for your light has come,
Mhm.
and the glory of the Lord is seen upon you.
Yep.
You have to come out of the light. And it's not easy, because if it was easy, I wouldn't be in the position that I am, trying to help other people. I too had to seek out a life coach myself. I do value life coaching
Hmm.
and therapy. And like I said, I'm always in some workshop learning something to help me become the person that I am. So I would say, first of all, instead of just finding little goals to chase after, yeah, your education is very important, but how many times do we neglect the educations of ourselves? And that is the reason why you'll find someone highly educated, and the people they walk with, friends, the people they date, reflects that they really never really paid attention to who they are.
Yep. 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 That is so
They've
true.
aligned their self-worth with their
Education.
education, and that's not it. Mm-mm.
Just a side note, I had a conversation with somebody one time, and they said, and it was a friend who I felt that for her, the epiphany of her life was to be married and have kids. And so I just asked her a question. I said, after you're married and you have these kids, and these kids leave, and God forbid this husband divorce you, who are you?
Right.
And she's like, what do you mean? I said, no. Because if you feel that that is the end of your life and that is the
The end all be
highest
all.
goal, the end goal of your life,
Yeah.
what happens when it's not there?
Right.
What do you do? Or what happens
Right.
if you never achieve that? Will you be content with yourself to say it's okay that you
Right.
don't have kids? It's okay that you don't get married. I'm not wishing that for you because I know that's what you want. But
Right.
who are you outside of that?
Who are you?
Yeah.
And so the same applies to even women or men who have achieved that.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, what they don't realize is that because you have not chosen to work on yourself to become the best version of you, you're not even showing up fully for those people.
No.
Therefore, you're not even enjoying. Your kids are not even getting the full value of a mother. Your husband is not getting the full value of a wife. Trust me. When you become her, not only does it benefit you, it benefits everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a better friend because, and I'm a better daughter now because I am not living for me. I'm living with accountability. What makes me a valuable person in the sight of God makes me a valuable person in the relationships that I show up for.
Mm-hmm.
Even our conversation before we even started
Yeah.
this, you were blushing.
I know, God
And
is
I
like,
meant everything.
I
And I
appreciate
meant
it.
everything. I meant everything because I don't care. I'm pure. I'm seeking to be pure. I'm seeking to walk in total integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect? No,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a pursuit of integrity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something people have to do. And the moment you start to walk in that person who you're becoming and you become clear about her, setting goals will only align because it's easy, because it's a part of who you're becoming. It won't be a chore. I
Mm-hmm.
just told you I wasn't feeling well, but I knew I had a deadline and I went to my job to do that. I just said I locked my door and I gave myself 2, 3 hours where I go in hard and I shut the world out. Why? Because I am accountable. I'm not passively living. My life is not just passing me
No,
by.
it's not.
No, it's not. Even when I have quiet moments, the things that are on my watch list to catch up on are building me up. It's like me sitting in a conference in my living room.
Hmm.
Very intentional what I watch on very intentional. I don't watch things that I don't want, I don't people that I don't admire. You're never going to catch me watching people, women who talk and fight and catty and gossip because that's not who I want to be. That's not who I am.
Oh no, I
It's
just
not
need some little ratchet
entertaining.
sometime in my life. I got to watch a little
I
ratchet.
don't.
I
I
need it. I
don't.
need a chaos.
I don't.
I'm too
I
structured,
don't.
so
I
I
am
need
not
some
that
chaos
person.
sometimes.
Yeah. As much as I'm structured, I will get my that easy funny out of something that is very so maybe I have Christian movies I'll watch that'll have um um like corny guy in there,
Okay.
that funny girl in there,
Uh,
that funny guy. So it's not like I don't have fun. I
oh
love
no, yeah,
laughing.
yeah,
But I'm very intentional because I'm a woman and we project and we people project
yeah,
as
yeah,
well. So I know who I am. I strive to be classy, elegant, funny, witty, more witty, but still respectful. I am not I am not going to put myself in an environment and subject myself to contents that speaks against the woman that I'm becoming.
definitely,
Because I absolutely am aware that the things that I've allowed myself to be open to has shaped me even when I didn't know it was shaping me. I just blossom into that person daily. Do you understand me? So
yeah.
I'm aware if I consume the opposite, it'll become the same. I'll be honest with you, I used to love Steve Harvey talk show
Mm-hmm.
um years ago. God stopped me from watching the Kardashian. I cannot tell you the season I watched a an episode of the Housewives. I've never watched basketball. I like basketball wives. It was be like years ago. I don't miss it. It does not appeal to me. I'm Hey, shout out to whoever does that, whatever it does for you, that's fine. You just said that, that's fine. I'm not judging.
I
I'm
no,
just
no,
speaking
no, yeah,
being very intentional. So, for instance, if you're a young lady who is trying to refine yourself, but you love ratchet TV, you love gangster rapping,
you
you like all those things, it's going to be very hard. I'm just
no, and
saying,
it's
it's
true.
going to be
It's true
very
because
hard.
I used to watch I started watching Love and Hip Hop. I couldn't do it. I
Yeah,
couldn't. I was like, first of all,
yeah,
it's the chaos is to a whole different level. Then
right.
the you can see that all these people have a lot of trauma. So I'm watching it. I'm
And
like,
you and
what?
you have and you have to understand that your eye is a gate, your ear is a gate.
Gateway into your soul.
Your spirit is going to internalize those things and it's going to pop up somewhere.
Hmm.
If we have time, do I have
Let's
time
go.
to say
Let's go.
something?
Let's go.
Okay. So I'll give you two examples. I used to love watching Steve Harvey. I love Tony Braxton. So of course I watched the Braxton and her sister Tamar was just obnoxious and stuff like that. And I used to love saying Tamar likes to talk to herself like me, she, her. And it was a time where it was fun to me. And then I remember one day, I love Steve Harvey. I love his talk show he had. But Steve has a mouth sometimes that is just not right. And I said something Steve would say in my office one day to a friend of mine, and we're just joking and laughing and whatever. And I said it, and it wasn't me. And I was like, I don't even remember what it was, but it was not me.
Yeah.
It was not me. And I got home very, very convicted. And I said, God, where did I come from? Get home, enter my room, and the Holy Spirit says to me, Steve Harvey, never watched them again from that day. Kardashians. She used to watch the Kardashians, like, it's fun, it's nothing, whatever. And one day I'm watching, and they're using holy this, F this, and the Holy Spirit, and I'm getting uncomfortable because now I'm walking with the Lord, but he takes his time to
Yeah.
certain
To
things,
peel,
right?
peel, peel the layers off.
and and things I'm telling you about is probably like 10 years ago, like 11, 12 years ago. So, and the Holy Spirit says to me in my bedroom that day, he says, do you think I leave when they stop cussing and then I return when you're done? I never watched them again.
That's a good
You know
one.
why? because it will change
It
you.
will. It will. And
So what are you consuming?
I agree 100% because I know I've seen it. I know I have experienced it. I know where I used to be fast with my mouth. You tell me stuff, I'm
Yeah.
ready to go, 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 go.
Music, especially, those things have spirits
And I
behind them.
realize is those shows that I used to watch and these people
Yeah.
that I used to be like, oh my God, they're such a nice, and the celebrity is great and they're great and they smack on their mouth and they can read and they can do this and they can do that. And I will be ready to, I mean, I'm ready to defend myself by the time you even say something that I don't like the way you said it. I don't like the way you look at
Your
me.
character was
it
being
was it
defined.
was just going crazy and I had to, yeah, and I
Redefined.
was like, I need to stop
Yeah.
this because this is not working for me, for the person that I know I want to be and the places I
And I'm
want to go
becoming.
and the rooms that I want to be
Right.
in. I
Right.
cannot have this attitude. I can't.
Absolutely.
And so I did.
So there's no way, yeah, there's no way me as a life coach, a woman comes to me and she's having a lot of issues in her personal life or her marriage or whatever, and you're consuming that type of content, your mouth, your
Your
influence,
influence, yep. Your
and some people
environment is
think it's
influencing you.
your environment, yeah, you think it's cute. It's
It's
not
not.
cute, you know? So if it's not adding value, I'm not doing it.
It's funny that we're talking about this because I used to be in a circle before and I realized that they would mimic like the
Yeah,
housewives thing. And so
yeah,
somebody have an issue with you, they will not reach out to you and say they have an issue. They will wait until you guys go
yeah.
to brunch or go to something and then they will put it on the table. And I remember one day sitting there and I'm just like, what
This is the
what
housewives.
am I in? Like it was like a
Yeah,
whole ruckus and I was just sitting there.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
literally if I tell you, like I got up, went to our waitress and say, I ordered my food. What did I get? I need to pay, I need to leave. I didn't say anything to nobody and
Right.
I just got up and left.
Wow, you were fed
I
up.
was like,
Yeah,
this
so
is, I'm like, what are we doing? First of all, we're a
yeah,
grown
so
adult. Why are we sitting here arguing in the people
absolutely.
establishment? Like some, like
Right.
hoodlums. Oh, I would, and that
Yeah,
was it for me. And I was like, and went home and I remember talking to my sister because we like share our stories every day. And she's like, oh, you were in that episode of a housewife. But I didn't,
yeah,
I just knew that at that moment, that environment wasn't for me and I didn't want to be around those people. But it never clicked to my mind what it was. When I talked to
yeah,
her, she said, they were doing housewife stuff. They'd be watching these
yeah.
TV shows and what they think
I
that's
don't do
cute.
that.
And I
Mm-mm.
was like,
I
you know
don't
what?
do it.
You're right. So
I'm very intentional.
yeah, I
Very,
was
very
like, I can't
intentional
do
with
that.
it.
If I did something to you and you don't think two of us can have a one-on-one conversation, but you want everybody to be there and we're not having a moment here. We're not doing that stuff.
Yeah. On a job, I was invited to I work with doctors and professors a lot. And I was invited to a private club house for one of their retirement dinner that was not work related. It was their own friends and family. And I was privately invited. It was not a work thing, so everybody wasn't invited. And not only was invited, I was invited by the top of my department.
Mhm.
And I was asked to pray for that entire dinner.
And it's
How are you
in
carrying
yourself.
yourself?
Yep. But they've seen.
Because the space I was invited in, I could have not known about it. And when I was invited, I was told to keep it private
Hmm.
because it was not a work related thing, right? I say this to say you don't know who's watching. And your behavior will either deny you access to rooms that are around
Hmm.
you, or they will allow you access into rooms that you know don't even know are around you.
It
So let's get
is.
fun.
Yes.
Let's be funny. We can be witty. Even when I pray that prayer, I remember making a joke in the prayer
Hmm.
that that person actually do retire because they like to work and take some.
Yeah.
So I'm saying you're not losing fun because you're not doing the things everyone's doing. I promise you there is a better fulfillment across the familiarity and the fears of
Oh,
change.
definitely. And change is healthy. And
It's
like I tell people, change is healthy and
so
change
healthy.
equals to growth. When you grow, you
Mhm.
change. So
Yeah.
it's important, but time has come and we have to leave
Thank
this
you.
space. But I really appreciate the knowledge. I appreciate you just being here with us today and having this conversation with us. I think it's super important as we start 2025. We align ourselves with the right things. Like you said, we place ourselves in the right company. We set goals for
Right.
ourselves. We let our goals and our resolutions, let them be achievable. You can measure them. This is something that realistic that you can do, and all that great stuff. So I want to say thank you so much for being here with us and just sharing all this knowledge with us. We hope we see you again. We hope you will
Thank you,
be
Edwin,
back
for
here to
having
have a great conversation with us. But I think this was really, really super dope, and I really, really appreciate you for doing this with us.
I appreciate you for having me. I had fun. It was easy. It's a conversation, and it's absolutely something we're all dealing with in some way, shape, or form. So it's easy to talk about. Yeah, but if anyone needs guidance in terms of life coaching, don't be afraid. It's something that is accessible to a lot of high achievers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something now we are having access to because of social media. That gives us information that a lot of people had in private, in their class of
Yep.
people. And so it's very okay to ask for help. I've asked for help to become the person that I am. And we all just need someone to help push us. And I feel like I am one of those people that God has chosen in this season to help other women. I can help men too, but more so women.
And that was it. So people, yeah, but of course, this was the tr- transformational Christian life coach, Sebah Tubman here, giving us great knowledge. You can follow her. She's on Instagram. Like she said, you can go to YouTube. This, of course, you can go to this video. You will watch the video. You will hear great, great things that you can use, practical things that you can actually use in your life today. So again, we want to say
Right.
thank you so much for being here with us, and my people out there in the land. This was the conversation, outspoken and opinionated. I am your host, Edwin Mayah. Until we see again, I want to say thank you, everyone, for always tuning in, for being here with us. You can catch this podcast on a live podcast network, on YouTube, on Facebook TV, everywhere you get your podcast. We are going to be there. So, without being said, I want to tell my people, have a good day.